Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into something pretty fascinating, maybe even a little eerie. We're talking about The Simpsons, that show that's been around forever. And specifically, it's weirdly accurate knack for predicting future events. With 2025 getting closer, some of their predictions are feeling a bit too real. So our mission today is to look at the sources you've shared, pull out the key bits, and really explore these scariest Simpsons predictions for 2025 that will blow your mind. We want to give you those surprising facts, those insights, but, keep it focused.
It really is remarkable, isn't it, how a cartoon, something mostly known for laughs, seems to tap into real-world stuff, sometimes decades ahead. And it makes you wonder, could their wildest ideas actually happen, especially as we look towards 2025?
Exactly. That's what we're diving into. Let's start with daily life and tech. First up, hover cars. Prediction 15. Remember that 2005 episode Future Drama? Bart and Lisa see a future where Homer gets a hover car. It's described as like bumpy and experimental, but it uses quantum tunnels. And Homer's line, you gotta love it. Welcome to the electric car of the future, sponsored by the gasoline producers of America.
Right, and what's fascinating is how reality is kind of catching up. You had Renault's float concept back in 2017 playing with magnetic levitation. Even Elon Musk's Hyperloop uses similar ideas. But the big one maybe for 2025 is from Samson Sky, an Oregon company. They're set to release the Switchblade. Now, it's not exactly a floating pod, more like a plane on wheels, but it's taken 14 years. Yep. And the promise is cutting through traffic jams, road rage. It shows we are genuinely moving toward that world The Simpsons joked about.
It does raise a funny question, though, doesn't it? Will you need, both a driver's and a pilot's license? Right. One super license for everything. Okay, sticking with tech, let's talk prediction 11. Hologram mail. Imagine ditching emails, even video calls, and sending a hologram of yourself instead. In Bart to the Future, Bart gets a holographic invite for his band. Back then, that seemed totally out there.
It really did. Pure fantasy.
Yeah.
But look now. We've got things like the DreamHack HD3. It's a holographic display, mostly used for advertising in Best Buy stores, creating these 3D images. So the basic tech exists. Sure, it's not exactly affordable for everyone yet. But remember when smartphones felt like that? Companies are definitely exploring holographic communication, making remote stuff feel more, real. And with AI getting smarter, 5G networks rolling out, the foundation's kind of being laid. Could 2025 be the year we see the first real steps towards hologram mail becoming mainstream? It's possible.
That's quite a thought. And speaking of tech in our lives, prediction 3, self-driving cars. The Simpsons tackled this one too with that classic mix of humor and, creepy foresight. In the days of future, the car malfunctions, refuses to stop for a bathroom rock. And then, baby, you can't drive my car, where Homer's car just decides it's driving now.
Yeah, and those funny scenes, they actually hit on a really serious point. What happens when this tech we depend on just doesn't work right? I mean, self-driving cars aren't science fiction anymore. Tesla, Waymo, they're out there. AI keeps improving, but the problems, malfunctions, those tricky ethical choices, just trusting the machine, they're huge hurdles.
Yeah.
So the real question is, can you actually trust a car by 2025 maybe to make those split-second life-or-death calls? Or put your safety first over its programming? It's about control, isn't it? And our relationship with tech.
That trust issue is huge. And it leads us nicely into our next area, the human condition, how we perceive things. This is where it gets maybe a little more unsettling. Prediction 14, mind control through music. Remember, New Kids on the Bletch, Bart's boy band, Party Posey. Their song Dropped a Bomb had that hidden message, Ivanet Nioi, play it backwards, join the Navy. And poor Otto suddenly feels the urge to enlist.
It seems like a joke, but it echoes real history. Think about World War II. The U.S. definitely used movies, used music as propaganda. Entertainment was seen as a weapon, even by the OSS. Now, fast forward. Today, there's a lot of talk about subtle influence in modern music. Those super repetitive beats, hypnotic lyrics. Could they be designed to affect listeners more than we think? With today's tech and understanding of psychology, it's not totally crazy to think that by 2025, music could be used, maybe even subconsciously, to shape thoughts or actions. Makes you wonder what's really in those chart toppers, huh?
Definitely makes you listen a bit differently. Okay, so if music can mess with our minds, what about our taste? Prediction 13. Virtual reality food. Imagine this. VR headset on, maybe a feeding tube, and you're tasting digital fudge. Or virtual lobster. The Simpsons did this with Homer and Marge, and Homer's review. This virtual fudge tastes like crap. Yeah,
Classics.
classic Homer skepticism. But this is actually happening. There's Error Banquet RMX. It blends French food with VR for this immersive thing. Cornell researchers found cheese literally tastes better if you eat it in a nice VR setting. Royal Caribbean's even looking into VR dining. What's fascinating is VR has already changed gaming, real estate, art, so why not food? Extending that to create these sensory adventures by 2025, it feels like a logical next step. It could completely change how we think about eating, separating the experience from the actual food. Wow, eating without. Eating. That's wild. Shifting gears slightly, but still on human connection. Prediction 2. Baby translator. How amazing would it be to know what your baby's really trying to tell you? In Lisa the Simpson, Homer's brother Herb invents this device, turns gurgles into actual sentences. Imagine your baby saying, "Mom, I need a nap." Total game changer right
It
now.
sounds like pure sitcom magic, but, well, the tech isn't that far off. Think about AI and speech recognition now. They're getting really good at picking up nonverbal cues, analyzing sounds. We already have baby monitors claiming to know if a cry means hungry or tired. So the jump from that to actual, translation, maybe it's not as big as it sounds. By 2025, could AI analyzing voice patterns, body language, could it give us a real baby translator? It could be huge for parents, reducing guesswork, maybe building stronger bonds earlier.
That would definitely ease a lot of parental stress. Okay, let's broaden the scope now, look at some bigger societal and existential questions. Prediction 10. Suppression of green energy. This one feels a bit heavier. It's from Paths to Glory. Lisa builds a solar car for a race she's about to win. Then the Duff beer blimp just floats over, blocks the sun, car stops dead, the crowd laughs, Lisa's crushed. It's funny, but kind of dark.
It's a brilliant, simple illustration of a real-world problem, isn't it? How powerful interests, corporate interests, can undermine progress, especially if it hits their profits. We've seen it time and again with green energy, facing challenges from fossil fuel industries, lobbying, spreading doubt, you name it. And as renewables get cheaper, more accessible, the threat to old industries gets bigger. So the insight isn't about a literal beer blimp, obviously. It's about that ongoing fight. Could we see, maybe, digital Duff blimps by 2025? New ways to block green progress. It's a valid concern.
Absolutely, a dynamic that's always playing out. Okay, sticking with iconic symbols. Big Ben. Prediction 9. We all know that iconic clock tower in London. But what if the bongs became beeps? The clock face went digital. The Simpsons showed exactly that back in '95 in Lisa's wedding, set in the future. Big Ben with an electronic display.
It's an interesting one, and it actually became a real discussion point when Big Ben was silent for repairs between 2019 and 2021. People asked about modernization, and you see it elsewhere too, historic places adding modern tech. So the core tension is tradition versus, well, progress or practicality. If Big Ben needed an upgrade for accuracy, weatherproofing, maybe even special displays, a digital face could be an option. Purists would hate it, no doubt.
Yeah.
That could add a new kind of interaction. Makes you wonder if we'll see more debates like this for other landmarks by 2025.
Tradition versus tech, yeah. Now, from a famous landmark to a famous mystery. Bigfoot. Prediction 8. Bigfoot is real. The Simpsons had fun with this, of course. Homer gets covered in mud, mistaken for Bigfoot, captured by scientists. Then later, Bart supposedly meets the real deal in Canada. It's all played for laughs, but...
But it taps into something deep, doesn't it? Our fascination with the unknown, the possibility of something hidden out there. People have reported sightings for decades, and now we have drones, better cameras, AI analysis. Could 2025 be the year technology finally gives us a definite answer? Maybe find something. Skepticism is healthy, sure, but we discover new species all the time. So the real question the prediction hints at is, could a large, smart creature actually stay hidden in today's world if it really wanted to, in those dense forests? It speaks to our desire for mystery, maybe.
A desire for mystery. Okay, now for one that feels less like mystery and more unsettling. Prediction 7, Pope Francis's death in 2025. This one is pretty specific. An episode shows Bart in a cemetery, and eagle-eyed viewers spotted a gravestone. It reads, 1936 to 2025 in loving memory of Pope Francis. Could the show really have predicted that?
This is definitely one of the most striking and sensitive predictions mentioned in the sources. And the context is important here. Pope Francis, he's 87 now, and he has faced significant health issues. Part of his lung was removed when he was young due to pleurisy. He's had respiratory problems since. Just in 2023, he had influenza bronchitis multiple times, plus abdominal surgeries, colon in 2021, hernia repair in 2023, add chronic sciatica, knee issues needing a wheelchair or cane. So while he's shown incredible resilience, his medical history is, well, complex. The source material highlights these facts, not to endorse the prediction, but to provide context. It leaves you with that chilling question. Could The Simpsons, given his health, have somehow foreseen this specific year?
It's definitely a heavy one to consider. Moving to something maybe less personal, but still dire. Prediction 6. Environmental disaster. The giant bubble. From the Simpsons movie back in 2007. None of us want to live under a dome, right? But that's what happens after Homer dumps pig waste into Springfield's toxic lake. It's a sharp take on environmental neglect. The government just seals the whole town off.
Yeah, the dome is satire, but the warning behind it feels incredibly relevant. Think about real-world environmental crises. Oil spills, industrial pollution, deforestation, climate change. It's constant news. And companies do cut corners, just like in the movie, and ordinary people often pay the price. So while a literal giant bubble seems unlikely, the idea of quarantine zones, for environmental disasters, health crises, that's not completely unheard of. The real prediction, maybe, is how easily carelessness and corporate greed could lead to a catastrophe needing drastic containment. It feels uncomfortably possible.
A very sobering thought. Okay, if that scared you, how about prediction 5? Black holes on Earth. In one episode, a tiny black hole just appears and starts sucking things in. Chaos, naturally. Bart asks, the black hole's looking a lot bigger. Does anybody want to admit to throwing things in?
Yeah.
Then it swallows everything, sends them to another planet.
Classic Simpsons absurdity, right? Taking a concept and running with it. But it plays on a real, albeit remote, fear. Could a black hole actually pop up on Earth by 2025? Scientifically, it's incredibly unlikely, but theoretically, microscopic ones could form under extreme conditions, maybe in particle accelerators. And we are finding black holes relatively close, cosmically speaking, thousands of light years away, but still. What makes the prediction so chilling, I think, is how it reflects human nature. That impulse to poke the dangerous thing. Would we react wisely, or would we be like Bart, just throwing stuff in to see what happens? It's a dark reflection of curiosity.
Yeah, our sometimes self-destructive curiosity. Okay, moving from cosmic danger to cosmic exploration. Prediction 4, training to live in space. We talked about Mars colonization earlier, but how do we get ready for that? The Simpsons showed the family visiting Exploration Incorporated, training people for Mars, and Lisa says, this mission really gives me hope. I'm tired of nothing but bad news about the future. I feel that, Lisa.
Me too. And that episode, it mixes the humor with the real challenges, doesn't it? The psychological stuff, the practicalities. Because in reality, NASA, SpaceX, others, they're working on this. Mars simulations are happening now. Elon Musk keeps talking about sending humans within the decade, maybe hitting milestones by 2025. NASA's Artemis program aims for a sustainable moon base as a stepping stone. So The Simpsons isn't just predicting the big goal, it's hinting at all the messy human stuff involved in getting there. The training, the strain.
The everyday life of becoming Martians. Okay, last one. And it's a doozy, especially if you like fast food. Prediction 1. Zombie apocalypse. Caused by food. Imagine getting a burger and it turns people into zombies. That's a Simpsons Halloween special. A new burger makes everyone zombie-like, except the Simpsons, naturally. It's played for laughs, but still, food causing an apocalypse.
It sounds completely ridiculous, but it taps into a real low-level anxiety we have about our food chain, doesn't it? All the processed stuff, weird ingredients, bioengineering. Is something going horribly wrong, really? That far-fetched? Maybe not zombies, but a major crisis. And interestingly, the zombie idea isn't totally baseless in biology. Think cordyceps fungus in insects. Mind control parasites exist. Scientists have even thought about how such things could theoretically affect humans. So the prediction pushes it. By 2025, with food tech moving so fast, could we accidentally create some kind of disaster like that? And let's be honest, the final question it poses is, would you survive it?
Oof. I hope we never have to find out. But it really highlights how The Simpsons, through all the jokes, somehow manages this incredible, sometimes scary foresight. These predictions, they seem to reflect our own worries, the speed of change, mixing humor with these hints of what might be coming.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe it's not just luck. Maybe this show taps into these recurring patterns human behavior, technology's path. So as we finish up this deep dive, here's something to chew on. Which of these predictions do you think could actually become reality by the end of 2025? And what does that possibility tell us about our own ability to see or maybe even influence what comes next?